And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, all that good stuff. Hopefully you're having a good week, decent week fairly. And if anything negative is happening in your life, remember that negative will turn to something positive eventually. Just stay course on your journey throughout this life and do the things that you know you need to do. Listen to that gut feeling, listen to that internal, that consciousness. You want to call God, higher self, spirit, whatever. Pay attention to that and you'll be okay. All right, that's my positive message for the day. Fuck it, let's get into these topics because it's a lot to cover. That's all I want to talk about. All right, first we have the CDC study finds in-person dining bans and wearing masks make a difference. So this is from CBSNews.com. Flat out to start off right off the bat, that's a lie. That headline is a lie. The headline is a lie. That's not even a stretch of the truth, not a half truth, just a flat out lie. And we're gonna talk about how much of a lie that shit is. So it says a growing number of governors moved to relax public health restrictions with the recent dip in COVID-19 cases. Yeah, I know it was like a week old. This is from March 5th, so a few days old, 5 days old rather. New research from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. You know, we call it the CDC, but we just ignore the P. I just now realize that as far as the acronym goes, we just said fuck the P. I just realized it. Because if you do it, then it's CDCP. CP, whatever, okay. Maybe that's a 5-year-old. It's like my kids' jokes. Like, they'll laugh at that something. Probably, they wouldn't even laugh at that type of humor. But anyway, it says it warns that lifting such measures could result in a new wave of cases and deaths. In the agency's morbidity and mortality weekly report, CDC researchers said Friday that mask mandates imposed in states last year were associated with nearly 2% decrease in the rate of newly reported COVID-19 deaths in the 100 days after the rules were implemented. 2% decrease. 2% is not actually significant, especially when you're talking about statistical data. When you have a deviation, or not necessarily deviation, but a margin of error of like 1% or 1.5%, something like that. So I just thought it was interesting because I had already seen some things on the internet. I think it might have been Breaking 911 on their Twitter page, something like that, where it highlighted an excerpt from the CDC study. So I found an article that had a link to the study, and I thought it was like, hey, why would you lead that way? Also, kind of interesting as far as the timing of the release of this information, because we know that Texas, I don't know if it's South Dakota, maybe Iowa, Kentucky. I know a bunch of states are kind of hopping on the bandwagon, mainly Republican states, I believe, are your red states, which I don't even know why they call them Republican, because basically anything that's not liberal or Democrat left, they automatically say Republican. God forbid if you're just independent. You just say, like myself, independent or whatever, you just get tossed along the wayside, wherever the case may be. You don't fall into the category, so they say, fuck you, whatever. So as this is coming out where people are lifting the mask mandates, yeah, Texas starts today, the 10th. So as they release these things, you have a CDC drop in their study. But it makes you wonder that it's weird because it says weekly report, but whatever, we'll look into that. It makes you wonder because did the governors know about this report from the CDC and that's why they changed their tune? Because the data doesn't back up the meaning to the reason for mask mandates, or let me go out on a limb here. Did the CDC say, oh damn it, these states are gonna do this, oh let's drop this shit? Something that they were just kind of sitting on for a while. And fuck the article. I just thought it was funny, the headline. So I have it highlighted here. So let's go scroll to the top. So you have on the CDC.gov, because I love to use government's own information against them. God forbid somebody say, oh, you got this from this far right leaning website and all. Nah, this is straight from the government. Straight from the government, because like I say all the time, they don't expect nobody to read this shit. They don't. They put all their little doctors' names on here and everybody and stuff that's affiliated with this, right? Cool. Good job for them. I'm sure they all got paid. It says Association of State issued mask mandates and allowing on-premises restaurant dining with county-level COVID-19 case and death growth rates. United States, March 1st to December 31st, 2020. So right off the bat, this said in the other article, it's talking about the first 100 days, correct? It says, yes, with a nearly 2% decrease rate of newly reported COVID-19 deaths in the first 100 days after the rules were implemented. Yet this is talking about from March 1st to December 31st. It's funny because it's really just covering March, because most places didn't have no mask mandates until, everybody came up out of lockdowns. It's funny too, because when we came out of our house, all of a sudden it was like, oh, no, wait. Okay, you guys come out, but you gotta wear a mask. Can't make this shit up, man. Oh my god, I can't ever not laugh about this because it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up that these people are just playing with people's lives like it's nothing. It's like it's nothing. Like they're playing with people's lives like it's just another game on their phone. Something to do, passing the time. So a quick summary of the report. It says what is already known about this topic. Universal masking and avoiding non-essential indoor spaces are recommended to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Because God forbid we give a shit about flu, influenza, any other respiratory viruses, common cold. We don't give a shit about that. It's only COVID-19. What is added by this report? Mandating masks was associated with a decrease in daily COVID-19 case and death growth rates within 20 days of implementation. So this shit says 20 days. The article says 100 days. Allowing on-premises restaurants dining was associated with an increase in daily COVID-19 case growth rates. What? With an increase in daily COVID-19 case growth rates, 41 to 100 days after implementation, and an increase in daily death growth rates, 61 to 100 days after implementation. Does it sound confusing? I hope it does, because it's designed to sound confusing. It's all over the place. You're trying to make sense of, like, okay, what are you trying to say? Like just say what the fuck you're trying to say. Right? It doesn't need to sound so confusing. It sounds confusing intentionally. What are the implications for public health practice? Mask mandates and restricting any on-premises dining at restaurants can help limit community transmission of COVID-19. You know what it also does? Kills the economy. Kills your local economy, especially when we're talking about, because we're only talking about franchises, small chains restaurants. We're not talking about McDonald's. You got drive-through, you good, and you ain't got to worry about that. So we're not talking about fast food restaurants, and you rarely see fast food restaurants that are, local businesses, family chain owned, things like that, franchises. No, you have your major franchise like a Subway or something, a major corporation that franchises out their restaurants like a Subway, rather, I should say. Says these findings can inform public policies to reduce community spread. Because the CDC is the end all be all, and Dr. Fauci is the end all be all when it comes to, diseases and stuff. He's an expert, so we gotta listen to him, because God forbid if you happen to, I don't know, think for yourself. Once again, crazy concept. Who knows what's best for you? Not you, apparently. Not your deity, not your God, not your spirituality, not none of that shit. Hell, not your parents. Right? It's funny how we come into this world looking at our only actual authority figure is our parents. Outside of that, there is no real authority. And the authority that our parents have over us is mainly because we're too young to understand things. So it's not necessarily authority, is that we kind of give up that control because we're still trying to learn ourselves. There's something I tell my kids all the time, like, yeah, I'm yelling at you, I'm doing these things. I know I seem intimidating and overbearing, but guess what? Once you realize that I'm not intimidating, that I'm just a regular guy, I'm just trying to help you out, I will no longer seem overbearing. I will no longer be intimidating. And once you conquer any little, not I want to say fears, any little intimidation or any little thing that your psychological any psychological effect or mental effect that you think I have over you. Once you realize that it doesn't exist and you're your own person, then you start to realize, wait a minute, I listen to myself. So I raise my kids to be individuals and to self-govern, and have to do it in a manner which I think is best for them. Now, am I the best parent in the world? Fuck no. I'm just trying to do what I think is best for them. Well, in a sense, I'm raising myself, and I know how to get at myself at certain times or whatever. So, anyways, that's kind of always going off the fact, but still, we keep constantly waiting for, oh, the CDC gave this new guideline, CDC did this, CDC that, but it's like, I'm pointing out this shit to let you guys know that, no, fuck the CDC. Who cares what they got to say? Who cares what they have to say? You act like you've never been around someone sick before in your life until last year. You think it's the first time you've been around someone sick? No. This is not the first time. It won't be the last time. So what are you supposed to do? I thought the human species was resilient. I thought we learned how to overcome things. Learning how to overcome things does not mean you run and hide and stuff and you worry about certain things. You face it head on. You find other ways, other methods around. And I'm not talking about, oh, let me go outside and put on a mask as an effective way. I'm talking about paying attention to your health. Like I said, if you want to wear a mask, that's by all means wear a mask. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean you should not do it, and vice versa. Don't get mad at me because I don't want to wear one. Let it be the choice. Let it be the option. There's a strawberry festival here in Plant City, Florida, and my kids and my family, we went down there, and we went to it, and we had a good time. Some of us wore masks, some of us didn't wear masks. My family members, they wore their masks. That's their choice. Me and my kids, we didn't wear our masks. That's our choice. There's nothing wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with that. You do what you want to do. You take your own health assessment risk and say, you know what? I think for me and my family, or for me myself, I'm okay. I don't have to do this. And if you say, you know what, just to be cautious, or maybe do a little, just to make me feel better, whatever the case may be, let me put this on. This is not a political issue. But in a sense it is, because when you look at the definition of politics is talking about governance. So, which something I didn't realize till I actually looked it up. And then again, who knows? The definitions seem to change whenever the fuck they feel like it every couple of years. So who knows? But when we talk about masks and stuff, this is not it's in a sense it's politics, it's governance, but actually it's over your own body, over your own health. The government cannot tell you what is best for you and your health, because guess what? They don't even fucking know you. I take that back. They do know you because they're spying on you. So they know you. I can't believe I keep saying this shit. Whatever, man. And I wonder why I get my stimulus check. Fuck this guy. We ain't giving this goddamn stimulus check. You ain't finna keep talking shit about us. We're listening. We hear this shit. I'm glad y'all do. But at the same time, like, wait a minute, man. Like, they don't know you. First, they don't know your health. They don't know what you necessarily do on a day-to-day basis. They don't know what you consume on a day-to-day basis. They don't know how much you're paying attention to your health. Hell, your own fucking doctor doesn't know, because your doctor barely remembers who you are until you make an appointment. So we're allowing people who have no association with us to make these guidelines based on their so-called quote-unquote science. So in this study, you have a whole bunch of different things that most people are going to get confused at when they're reading it and whatnot. And it's designed to be that way. It's a bunch of pointless information, in my opinion, at least. And then the part I have highlighted here for those on the video version of the podcast, this is one that I seen on Twitter and other social media accounts. I think it was on Gab as well. It says during March 1 to December 30. So I can't say March 1. During March 1st to through December 31st, 2020, state issued mask mandates applied in 2,313, which is 73.6% of the 3,142 U.S. counties. I didn't realize there's 3,000 something U.S. counties, but okay. Then it says mask mandates were associated with a 0.05 percentage point decrease. And then it says P equals 0.02, which, damn it, goddamn statistics class, I forgot what P means. I can't think of it. I'm sure somebody knows. But associated with a 0.05% percentage point decrease. 0.05% percentage point decrease. 0.05 in daily COVID-19 case growth rates 1 to 20 days after implementation, and decreases of 1.1, 1.5, 1.7, and 1.8 percentage points from 21 to 40 days, 41 to 60 days, 61 to 80 days, and 81 to 100 days. So obviously, is your 1.8 percentage point is lined up with the 81 to 100 days in the manner in which they're writing this, respectively, after implementation. So mask mandates were associated with 0.07% point decrease in daily COVID-19 death growth rates 1 to 20 days after implementation, and decrease of 1.0, 1.4, 1.6, and 1.9 percentage points in the 21 to 40 days, 41 to 60 days, 61 to 80 days, 81 to 100 days. Notice how this is all statistics, right? And yeah, you can break this down, look it up and stuff, and it'll give you a little bit more understanding. But all that just to say this last sentence in the paragraph: daily case and death growth rates before implementation of mask mandates were not statistically different from the reference period. All this just to say that one line. And notice how they bury in it. Why would they not lead off with that? Why would they not make sure they spend a whole paragraph ending that? That's interesting, right? Because it says daily case and death growth rates before implementation of mask mandates were not statistically different from the reference period. Statistically different, because that 1.5, 1 point something percentage, you're going to have a margin of error of at least 1.1 percentage point, 1.5 at the most. And this is just basic statistics. So all that, they're telling you, oh yeah, they decrease. Yeah, it decreased, but there really is no statistical difference, meaning a real significance of a decrease or a significance of an effect would be a 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%. You mean to tell me that what we knew all along, what me and I'm sure other people, I know other people, scientists, the doctors, stuff like the studies I looked up and stuff and talked about on this podcast, have been saying all along that there is no significant decrease or increase. It makes no difference when you're talking about from a scientific standpoint. It makes no actual difference. That's why they have no problem telling you to wear a mask, because they know it makes no difference as far as you getting COVID-19, you getting sick from a virus. There is no actual significance, no statistical data significance of a difference. They know this. They know this. That's why they have no problem lying. Because it's one of those white lies, like, whatever. Yeah, we lied. But they won't say they lied. They'll be like, oh, yeah, we made a mistake. We'll do better next time. It says during the study period, states allowed restaurants to reopen. Okay, that's all it talks about. Kind of scanning over some of this stuff. They kill me, man. Because it's yet again me reading one of the CDC studies and pointing out the bullshit in it. Just like that double mask thing. When you actually read a study, it tells you that they didn't use human beings. They use mannequins. How can you run a simulation on a mannequin and apply that to a human being? Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I think I just scanned the paragraph. Hold on. It says the findings in this report are subject to at least 3 limitations. Oh, that's right. Okay, let me read this real quick. First, although models controlled for mask mandates, restaurant and bar closures, stay-at-home orders, and gathering bans, the models did not control for other policies that might affect case and death rates, including other types of business closures, physical distancing recommendations, policies issued by localities, and variants granted by states to certain counties if variances were not made publicly available. So basically what that's saying is there's other factors involved that we can't necessarily account for because it's too much of a, I don't know, independent matter as far as each county, each restaurant, everything and what they're doing. But Let's see. Do they mention this too? The second, compliance with an enforcement of policy were not measured. There you go. There you go. So they're judging on policies and not reality. Let that soak in for a minute. Let that shit soak in. They're talking about hypothetical situations. In theory, these mass mandates may work, but in actuality, did the people actually follow these mandates? Did every single individual that walked into that diner, that restaurant, wherever the case may be, did they actually do social distancing? Did they actually have masks on? How long did they have masks on? Of course, if they're in there eating, they didn't have the mask on. So what is a mask mandate in a restaurant if you're gonna pull down and eat? Kind of pointless, right? You had it on when you walked through the door, when you went to go sit down, and when they brought you your drink, you took that shit off to start drinking your water, your soda, your alcoholic beverage. You and your kids. Also, while you're sitting down there and eating, guess what? Your mask is not on. You don't put your mask back on until you get up and walk out the restaurant. At what point in time does this actually matter that you have a mask mandate in your local business? Think about it. How can you have a mask mandate in the restaurant when you know people have to take off their masks anyway to eat, thus defeating the whole purpose of the mask mandate? Whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. I'm making too much fucking sense. I can't help this. I can't help this because you and everyone else will see the same logical standpoint or come to the same logical conclusion rather if you sit here and think about these things. Think about all the possible variables. It's saying compliance with and enforcement of policies were not measured because they cannot measure that shit. They're only going off the data. They actually, oh my, I don't even want to go there. I don't think I want to go there because who knows how they even gather this data. Other than contact tracing, trying to figure out who got sick at a certain place. Oh man, this data can easily be manipulated. Easily be manipulated. And not necessarily intentionally. Unintentionally as well. This whole study is irrelevant. And it's not me. I'm not saying it's irrelevant. They're saying it's irrelevant. The government, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, because we said fuck the P in the acronym. So the CDC, they're saying it. It's not me. It's not my words. I'm just reading the shit that they put out. But no one really reads this. Your local news broadcasters won't read this, right? Your mainstream media outlets, those stupid broadcasters, those people that get on there and put on their makeup and talk, they're not reading this shit. No one's fucking reading this, man. Because if people actually sat down and read this, they'll be like, wait. What? What? And then the last sentence says, finally, the analysis did not differ. Oh my God. Finally, the analysis did not differentiate between indoor and outdoor dining. There's no specifications at all in this study. There's no details. It's all generalizations of statistical data. That's it. Better be honest with you, it's one huge speculation. It's purely speculation based off of not obscure but iffy statistical data. Oh my God! You know what? Better yet, they probably ran a computer model. Probably ran a computer simulation. They probably took some data and ran a computer simulation. And obviously, if you do a computer simulation, well, you're putting in the parameters of that simulation within the coding or the algorithm and how you want certain things to play out. So you're also manipulating the simulated model. I didn't even finish reading the sentence. It just blew my mind away. Okay, let me try reading this again. Finally, the analysis did not differentiate between indoor and outdoor dining, adequacy of ventilation, and adherence to physical distancing and occupancy requirements. So say the restaurant is operating at, I don't know, 50% of capacity. So they don't put that into account. Say no, even better yet, say the dining area, the restaurant rather, is operating at 50% capacity, correct? Say it's a Wednesday. You're not getting as many people anyways because it's a Wednesday. There's no sporting events, anything like that necessarily. Just give you a hypothetical situation. So say instead you're operating at 50% capacity, but you only get about 20% of that 50%. And then that data is sent off. See how I'm talking about? There's no actual specification. There's not enough details. There's too many variables. There's too many things that you cannot account for. So to even make this study, exactly that, a study. It's observational. If you take a statistics class, you even gotta take it. Look it up. Observational studies don't do nothing. Just kind of give you a slight perspective. So that's why when it says no statistical difference, and we're talking about a 2% decrease, the margin of error actually is probably bigger than 2%. It might be 5-10%. And that might seem like exaggeration, but there's so many different variables that they did not and cannot account for that you're going to have a huge margin of error. Why? Why put this on a CBS News website and say, oh yeah, mass doing? That's why I said they're flat out lying. They're flat out lying. Because if you sit down and actually read the study from anyone with any type of education, right? High school degree, any type of education, you'll sit here and see that this does not add up. This study does not add up. So therefore, you cannot come to a conclusion or a statement that you're trying to pull off as factual or truthful by saying that the math works. You can't say that. You cannot. Let me go back and read it. The headline: CDC study finds in-person dining bans and wearing masks makes a difference. You know what? I take that back. I got played. I just realized I got played. I got played. I got played because look how easily you don't pay attention. I just caught myself not paying attention. You understand? I just realized I caught myself not paying attention. They didn't lie. They gave just a ominous. Is that a correct word to use? They kind of gave just a vague headline. There you go. It's a neutral headline. It's a neutral headline, but you know their intended purpose because we know their intended purpose, especially as CBS. We know it's a left leaning. Hell, all mainstream media is left leaning anyways, so it doesn't matter. And I'm not necessarily left leaning in politics, but just left leaning, I guess, in your ideology. I don't fucking know. It's just it still doesn't make sense when you say it like that either. Because let me read it again. Let me read a couple. So as a growing number of governors move to relax public health restrictions with a dip in blah blah, warns that lifting such measures because okay, so in their article they kind of are warning like no, we shouldn't do this anyway. So, but the headline itself, rather, with nearly, but even in the article it says with a nearly 2% decrease in the rate. So this is not a lie. It's based on the study. So that's my fault because I'm trying to say it's a lie because I know what they're implementing, what they're trying to push. You can see it in the wording, you can read it in the wording and stuff, and how they push this stuff. They don't want the math mandates lifted. They want to continuate this endless perpetual cycle of fear, 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 fear. But really, when you go back and look at the headline, it says CDC study finds in-person dining bans and wearing masks make a difference. How though? How? It doesn't necessarily say how it makes a difference. It doesn't say if it makes a positive difference or a negative difference, or what will be a positive. It doesn't imply that as a positive difference, and a negative difference would mean that what it has no difference at all. Let me stop. I'm trying to dig too deep into it, and that's the crazy thing because you have to dig too deep into it. because if you just read that article, it's completely obviously it's misleading. Whether it's a complete lie, like I said, at best it's a half truth, and at best it's vague as well. At worst, it's a complete lie, complete fabricated, complete false statements. Because that's why you click on the links to the study. That's why you read the shit for yourself. The article is there for me. The article is just there so I can see the link to the study instead of having to search it somewhere else. And that's how I found a link to the study. I was like, let me search the article that says something like this, and I'm sure they're gonna have the study in there. There's a link to the study. Thank you. Read the study instead. so, so that's also on me too because I'm kind of making a biased statement based on the study. Well, the study tells me exactly what it is. Nothing. 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 It did not differentiate between indoor and outdoor dining, adequacy of ventilation, none of that stuff. Community mitigation measures can help reduce the transmission of SARS-CoV-2. In this study, mask mandates were associated with reduction in COVID-19 case and death growth rates within 20 days, whereas allowing on-premises dining at restaurants were associated with increases in COVID-19 and death growth rates, and with after 40 days with the emergence of. Why would you still even make this last paragraph when these other paragraphs are saying, you know, we're still not accounting for a lot of different things. And once again, the biggest issue about this study is that they're just going off the policies, let alone whether or not each individual customer that came into the restaurant was following those policies. If you say, oh, well, they wouldn't be allowed to the restaurant, yeah, they would. You don't think that person that's making $8, $9, $10 an hour, wherever they're making, it doesn't even matter. That person that's been at this restaurant who probably was there last year, and then there's lockdowns and shutdowns happen and stuff, so they didn't have a job, they had to go find and do something else, and then the restaurant opened back up, now they're back there and stuff, and because they need the extra money or whatever the case may be, or they need the money, period. You think they're finna sit there and argue with someone because they ain't got a mask on? You think that manager, that owner of that restaurant really about to be like, oh yeah, you know, you need to have your mask on, you know, you think they're gonna turn away business? Money, man. Money. What I look like turning away a business? What I look like turning away a customer? Why? Because 10 people are upset that this one person that have it on, but don't worry, the hundreds and hundreds of other people don't give a shit because they're too busy minding their own damn business. Also, once again, we're talking about a restaurant. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of me walking through the door with a mask on if I'm gonna sit down and take it off? What is the point? And if you got a lot of these restaurants got plexiglass up, which I don't know where the fuck all this plexiglass happened to pop up. I guess it's kind of like the mask as well. Like, well, don't worry. Every manufacturing plant in the country and around the world all of a sudden can develop masks. Just like that, instantly. Everybody can develop masks. And then the person at home that has their little knitting machine or whatever, all of a sudden they can make their own mask too. Damn near everyone's a fucking homemaker all of a sudden. Everybody can make a mask. It's like, what is going on here? You got your friends and your family members stuff selling their masks on their social media accounts, stuff like that. Everybody has a mask. Yet not once have they they haven't really released an actual specific guideline. Or I guess they kind of had, but once again, it's vague because it's kind of like, oh yeah, you can have this, right? You can have a cloth mask. You can wear a handkerchief over your face, or you can wear a bandana. And then later on, like, you know, you really need more tight-fitting masks, stuff like that. No shit. But first, they're like, oh, just put something on your face. For as long as they didn't use the word mask, they just said cover. Attention to the details, man. Attention to the details. It's not my fault. Air Force had me trained that way. Making sure I don't have no wrinkles in my socks when I roll them up. Attention to the details. Pay attention to the details. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? I'm paying attention to the details. That's how I was raised in my household as well. Military family household. Pay attention to details. Oh, I'm paying attention to the details. And the details are pretty fucked up. Just saying. Just saying. I had to catch myself on that. Oh, yeah, because that's a vague statement in itself. So that's on me for saying that they're lying. I mean, they're still lying. It's just a half-truth type of thing or whatever. All right, man. On to this next article. You have the New York Times. Vaccinated Americans may gather. God, where did this shit come from? That popped up out of nowhere. And it won't stop the play. Of course it won't. The thing is, the person ahead of the CDC, she's just talking. It says the vaccinated Americans may gather indoors in small groups, but should still wear masks in public, the CDC said. The agency on Monday issued long-awaited advice to Americans fully vaccinated against COVID-19, freeing them to take some liberties that the unvaccinated should not. Wow. That's not Orwellian. That's not a dictatorship statement at all. That's not. Damn, my mind is blown right now. Freeing them. It's, do we really want to use that choice of word? I don't think that's a good verbiage. Because you got the vaccine, now you're free. You see how they worded that? Now you're free. You want to talk about the mainstream media and their propaganda messages? That's just right there, freeing them. Because you hear that like, oh man, if I get a vaccine, I'm free. Well, if you get the vaccine or not, that's your choice. Me personally, I say I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. I could definitely see if I was in the federal government, military, anything in the federal stuff like that. I definitely, if I was still in the Air Force, I would take it because I know I really ain't got no choice. They're pretending to give me the illusion of choice, but I know I ain't got no choice. And that's all they do. And also, you're heavily vaccinated in the military anyway, so you're already fucked. Like me and my kids, tons of vaccines, we're already fucked. We're already fucked. Trust me, I had thought a lot about that when they were first born and they had to get all these consistent shots. I was like, God damn, where all these shots come from, man? I was like, I don't like this shit, man. I don't like this shit. So me as a parent, I always felt not bad about it, but kind of like I know I didn't do my own research. I know I didn't dig enough before I had the vaccines given to them so they can go to the daycare on base, which is also called the CDC, Child Development Center. The government, they acronym. They don't give a shit. They'll just reuse them all throughout the different branches and agencies across the government. They don't give a shit. But for it to say COVID-19 freeing them to take some liberties, that the unvaccinated should not. One, no one should tell me what liberties I can and cannot take because liberties are not anything to be taken away from me, period. They're not given to me. They're not taken away from me. Free will. You want to talk about your occult and secret societies, all that stuff, and their little hidden message stuff because it's something about free will? No, because they know they can't control you. You have to give it up. You have to give it up. If they try to force it out of you, well, that's too obvious. Then you have a revolt. Then you have a rebellion. That's too much. Because you can't kill off everybody. Can't kill off your citizens. You won't have nobody else to govern over. Ain't no fun being the ruler if you ain't got nobody to rule over, right? So this is interesting because, like, freeing them to take some liberties. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Monday issued a long-awaited, and this is from the article from March 8th, issue a long-awaited advice to long-awaited, whatever, advice to Americans fully vaccinated against COVID-19, freeing them to take some liberties that the unvaccinated should not, including gathering indoors in small groups without precautions while still adhering to masking and distancing in public places. So you and your other vaccinated friends can gather indoors in small groups without precautions, regular life. You know that thing that apparently they tell us that we can't live anymore, that regular life, you and your friends huddling up together and stuff in your house, having a small get together, a party or whatever. But it's cool now because if all y'all are vaccinated, you're good to go. You're allowed to take some of those liberties. Just at what point, do you think, okay, I'm tired of you trying to tell me what to do? Because I know this has gone on so long by now that majority of the population, not just in America, but around the world, has had enough. Has had enough. And those that are still holding on to it, they just don't want to admit to it yet. Because every individual on this planet can only take someone telling them what to do for so long. It's in our nature. Because in order for the human species to evolve, the part of our evolutionary track would be to self-govern, to not allow these people to tell me what to do. As the technologies improve and everyone is more educated, and really your conscious awareness is rising within the human species, that means you're aware of what's going on, meaning you're understanding of the moment and yourself internally. You're understanding your health, your possible health risks. You understand your own health risk assessment. You're understanding, what can make you sick, what can not make you sick. You're understanding your diet, what you're putting into your body. Are you getting enough rest? Are you getting exercise? Are you getting enough sunlight? You're understanding these things because our conscious awareness is awakening. I hate that word, but it's awakening or it's rising, wherever you want to say. It's expanding. So we're all coming aware that, you know what, I don't think I need someone that's sitting in a building thousands of miles away who I will never have any association with, that I will never have not even a smallest conversation with, that I may or may not see in a public viewing amongst 20,000 other people, that I will never have a personal one-on-one conversation with, tell you what to do. How absurd is that when you think about it? People that you never be around are telling you what to do. They're not supposed to tell us what to do. I talked about before, I voted for Trump. The only reason I like Trump because he was just saying, majority of people that like Trump, probably all the people that like Trump, is just because he was saying what we was already thinking and saying. That's it. Because that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not asking for a leader. I just want you to go do that task because I don't feel like doing it. Because if I wanted to do it, I would do the shit myself. And granted, we're not all going to want to do these certain things. That's why you have your farmers. That's why you have your coal miners. That's why you have your people that work in these certain jobs and stuff. Because not everybody wants to do the same thing. That's the beauty of the human species. That's why you have billions of people, because you have different perspective, and you can have a functioning society because not everybody wants to do the same thing. But at the same time, you're not supposed to be in charge of anybody. No one gave you permission to be in charge of anybody. You're supposed to represent the people. So as they go off and sit in their little sanctuary in their Capitol building and they're worried about passing this law, passing that law, nobody sits and asks, wait a minute, who told y'all to pass these laws? Who said to make this stuff up? What do y'all? How come we don't, if we care so much about democracy, we don't necessarily vote on federal laws? Why is that? How come we don't vote on federal laws? People love democracy, right? I don't know if I do, to be honest with you, because I don't know. I don't know. To me, the best governance there is self-governance. And if we have to have a government, then let it be extremely small. And not necessarily year-round as well either. Well, that's going into something different too, so let me stop. But take this article in mind along with the study as far as in dining restaurants and stuff like that, where it said no real statistical difference as far as wearing masks, social distancing, all this stuff. Basically what it's saying is we actually don't really know, and the data can't tell us because, well, there's too many possible variables that we cannot account for. So why even bother with any of this? You mean why not just go about doing the same thing you've been doing for thousands of years, millions of years? You mean the same stuff you've been doing your whole entire life until last year? You mean that stuff? You mean taking your own health risk assessment, paying attention to your own health, doing different things? Maybe when you get sick and you have to call off from work because not only are you sick and you don't feel good, you don't have the strength to work, but also you don't want to get anyone else sick because you have respect and consideration for others. You don't want to pass on anything. Then again, at the same time, if that person's taking care of their health, they know they're all right. They're all right. But clearly, you don't want someone sneezing all day at work. But also, you know what? Depends on where you work at. See, you every situation cannot apply to other situations. How come we don't look at things on an individual basis, on a case by case scenario? You can have an overarching type of, I don't want to say guideline, but do I want to say guideline? No, I don't want to say guideline because the CDC is offering up guidelines, but they use the word guidelines, but they're coming at you from a more of an authoritarian position, saying that, oh, we know what's best. And by them saying we know what's best, they're trying to put you beneath them, saying that you don't know what's best for you. They're talking about they know what's best for the whole population, but how can you make an assessment on the whole population when there's so many variables? At best, all you can do is make a guesstimate. That's it. All you can do is have a hypothesis. That's it. That's it. So their studies mean nothing. So the best thing you should do is just everybody make their own assessments. Obviously, if you're sick, first and foremost, you worry about yourself. If I can't come into work, it's because I feel like I can't do my best job. Because once again, I can't even say we talked about germ theory versus terrain theory. We still don't know how people actually get sick. That's why you have your asymptomatic people that are carriers of virus. You never heard no shit like that in your life. Asymptomatic carriers of viruses. You mean healthy people? Why are they healthy and you're not? What is going on? Is their diet? I mean, everyone's immune system is different. And it's not just necessarily about your diet, your exercise, and what you're doing to take care of yourself, but there's other factors as well. Whether you already have a weaker immune system because you have some other underlying conditions. Because majority of all this that's what it's about. Underlying conditions. There's so many underlying conditions that people have that they don't know about. Because you think your doctor is going to tell you? Fuck no. Your doctor's not going to tell you until it's bad enough where they can prescribe you prescription medication and get you hooked on that. And next thing you know, we have an opioid crisis. In the military, the biggest thing in the military is everybody's on Motrin because every time you go in for something, they Motrin. They give you ibuprofen rather. They can't use brand names. They give you ibuprofen for everything. That's what they do. That's interesting, right? I already slap out antidepressants for everything. Oh, you got super problems? Here's some antidepressants. This is bad, man. This is bad, man. This is bad. We really gotta stop and pay attention to the details and what is going on, and really start looking at these individual case scenarios. Because it's one you can look at a bunch of individual case scenarios and see all the variables and things that's going on, and then apply it to more of a generic or generalized population and stuff. Which you think that the CDC is trying to do, but it's really not. I was gonna say that's why all the stuff that the government talks about, it sounds good. It all sounds good because it's designed to sound good. Because when you read it, you have a good feeling about it. But if you really pay attention to the details and the words that they're using, you will be completely flipped off and start to get pissed off because none of the shit that they're saying actually makes sense. The agency offers good news to grandparents who have refrained from seeing children and grandchildren for the past year, saying that vaccinated people may visit indoors with unvaccinated people. So your vaccinated grandparent that already has comorbidities, already has underlying conditions, already has other things going on in their health, which will weaken their immune system because their immune system is fighting these other things and stuff, inflammation, as far as arthritis, or rheumatoid arthritis, anything else, cancer, whatever the case may be. So in order for you to see how they apply to your emotions, the agency offer good news to grandparents. So it's like, oh yeah, I can see my grandkids, my great grandchildren, stuff like that, as long as they get vaccinated. See, it sounds good. It sounds good, but no one stops to ask the question, well, what's the point of them being vaccinated if there's nothing wrong with them? Oh, so they can go around so they can go around their grandparent, but the grandparent's already vaccinated. Shouldn't they be good? If you're vaccinated and I'm not vaccinated, you're good, correct? I thought that's what the vaccine was for, to give you a boost to your immune system in case you do get the virus. That even makes sense. In case you do get the virus and your ability of immune system, you can fight it off. So why are we even worried about unvaccinated people then? Because if you have it, you're good, right? Saying that vaccinated people may visit indoors with unvaccinated people from a single household so long as no one among the unvaccinated is at risk for severe disease if affected with the coronavirus. So you mean if you're healthy, you're good? In practice, that means fully vaccinated grandparents may visit unvaccinated healthy adult children and healthy grandchildren of the same household without masks or physical distancing, but the visit should be local. The agency still does not recommend travel for any American, vaccinated or not. Meanwhile, everybody's traveling. Like I said, you're already saying fuck the guidelines, fuck the CDC. We're all already saying that. When you get up and leave your house, you're already saying, fuck the government, don't care what they got to say. I'm going to do what I want to do because that's what I'm going to do anyway. We all do what we want to do. There actually is no authority, at least in the sense of, I know some people have the religious beliefs. So in the sense of physical beings, another human being, another alien, whatever the case may be, no one has no actual authority of you. The choices that you make are always of your own. You always make your own choices. You might make your choice based on possible effects of that choice. So obviously, I'm not gonna go rob or steal a car because one, I'm stealing someone else's property. I don't want to do that. Two, that means someone's gonna come for their property. Three, that person that comes for their property might be the individual themselves, might be the police. Four, now I'm looking at jail time, fines, all types of stuff. Five, if the person who comes for the property individually says, you know what, I want my shit back, and then we get an altercation, they shoot me, I'm dead. Well, are they a vigilante, or were they within their rights to go confront the person who took their property? It's interesting, right? So interesting that I forgot why I even made that whole scenario. How about that? I forgot why I made the whole scenario. I completely forgot why I made it. Completely forgot. I don't even know why I did that. Oh, the school bus threw me off. I'm like, what are kids doing out of school already? I forgot. I think it's one of those half days or whatever. Oh my God. Whatever, man. Whatever. That's, anyway, so yeah, you notice how I'll say things, and next thing you know, I'll read the next paragraph of the article, and the article is telling me already. And you might think, oh, well, you just got to read the article. That's why I'm saying that. No. The point is that there's not even a point for these articles because if you just use your own logical brain, they're not saying nothing. They're not saying nothing. I already know what's going to be said because it already makes sense. And if they don't say the things that make sense, the real question is, why are they not saying that? So now your grandparent needs to get vaccinated because they already have underlying health conditions. So now they need a vaccination. If that's the case, then why why have we not worried about those elderly people this whole entire time and just only focus on them? Meanwhile, the rest of us can go out and walk about and live our lives. Because they'll let you know that, oh, well, you were worried about the grandparents. That's good news for them. They always got something to say. They always got something to say. So new recommendations from CDC are intended to nudge Americans onto a more cautious path with clear boundaries for safe behavior. Nudge Americans on a more cautious path with clear boundaries. Nah, I'm good. I don't need your nudging, CDC. I'm good. I do what I want. I don't need your nudging, CDC. That's okay. I'm all right. Man, I didn't realize California, Oregon, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado are a mix where some of them are closed. Some of them still have some type of stay-at-home order. Ooh, ugh. It says while acknowledging that most of the country remains vulnerable and many scientific questions remain unanswered. Whatever, man. Stupid ass article. About half of adults are anxious about re-entering normal life, including 44% of those who have been back. I hate these stupid studies. When they say about when they give percentage of so-called this many Americans or this many people, then they ask you. Then they ask me. They have all these little these surveys and stuff, rather not studies, surveys where they say they ask people, and 44% of 44% of who? They didn't talk to me. I don't know if they talked to you. They didn't talk to all of us. I know that damn much. Let's see what it says. New guidelines provide much needed advice to individuals who remain reluctant to some whatever, man. I need to move on to the next topic anyway. I probably spent too much time on this. This COVID-19 stuff, man. I'm going to keep talking about it. If they're going to continue to talk about it and bring up a whole bunch of nonsensical arguments, I'm going to continue to dispel those arguments and call them out. Because it's not about, they can have all their little guidelines and you make sure you follow the guidelines. The CDC said we need to do this, so make sure you follow that. They tell you it's a guideline and it's not mandatory because they can't make it mandatory. That's why it's a guideline. Because trust me, they want to make it mandatory. And that's why they come out with guidelines in the states and governors and local legislation and all this other stuff. A local governance says, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that because the CDC said, fuck the CDC. Fuck, fuck, fuck the CDC. Fuck the CDC. Fuck the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Like, how hard is that to say for people? Who cares what they gotta say? Who cares? Because does anyone actually have confidence in them? This whole past year, they're talking about vaccines yet. Did you hear anything about a cure? You rarely hear. You heard? Oh, my fault. If you did, it was hydroxychloroquine. They told you no. Better yet, we don't even hear about treatments outside Regeneron, which Trump was talking about, and some other places. You don't really hear anything about treatments. Yeah, when you get the common cold, what do you go do? Pick up some Theraflu or whatever. Pick up some NyQuil. Are those effective treatments? All they do is make you sleepy. Notice how you get sick, the best thing to do is go to sleep. It's almost like your body already has something in place where if it's in pain, if it's hurt, whatever the case may be, it goes into a sleep state, rest up, let the body do what it needs to do internally, and you feel a little bit better. Notice how every time you get sick, you say, oh, go home, make sure you get some rest. It's almost like the body, all the science of Mother Nature is already there. Huh. This is crazy when you think about it, right? Fuck the CDC, that's enough of them. Oh my God. To go on to another agency that sucks, the FBI. I can't believe that. You know, man, it makes me mad because I wanted to work in the FBI before. I know I talked about doing OSI in the Air Force. I wanted to be an investigator. Obviously, I like to think. I like to solve problems and stuff like that. You know, I always wanted to be a detective, but I didn't want to be a police officer. Granted, I understood that I would need that background to understand some things, so I knew I couldn't go without it. But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try to find a route. I probably can't join the FBI anymore now. I probably done said too much. I definitely can't join. So I done burnt that bridge. But I ain't had no intentions on joining anyway, so I definitely can't do it now. That's funny though. But it is from Breaking 911. And I know a bunch of other websites have it up too. Media outlets rather. It says FBI releases new video of suspect planting bombs before Capitol riot. Okay, let's watch the video. Let's watch the video first. Yeah, let's watch the video. Let me read the article. No music. It's not gonna say the words. All right. So it says on January 5th, 2021, an unknown individual placed 2 pipe bombs in the Capitol Hill neighborhood on Washington D.C. Of Washington D.C. And in the video, you see a dude walking casually at nighttime. It look like appears to be a white hoodie on, like minding his own business. Then it says the devices were placed between 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He just casually sits down on the bench, and I'm assuming it's the heat. I don't see no booze, but you know, in today's America, you never fucking know. I should have said that. I can't help it. It's funny. Yeah, but it's true. It's true. It's not my fault. Everybody identifies whatever. It's not my fucking fault. I didn't do it. I'm just saying. And the FBI says, help us identify this individual. Yeah, because the FBI actually needs your help. They got tons of facial recognition software. AI is doing all types of AI supercomputers, doing all types of computations, running algorithms, trying to figure out who someone is based on all the different evidence. They got all these different camera angles and stuff. Oh, help us identify this individual. Come on, man. You already know who it is. It's somebody that works at the FBI. This seems like an inside job. This seems like an inside psyop. That's what it seems like to me. That's what it feels like. That's what it smells like. Or my son would say, smells like cap. That's what it does, man. That's what it does, man. Help us identify this individual. So 7 40, 7 o'clock 40 minutes 33 seconds p.m. South Capitol Street, Southeast Washington D.C. It shows a video of the this dude just look like he just. This is really good video cameras, man. So hold on. You got no guns in D.C. You got cameras all over the place, and no one saw this dude get out of a vehicle. No camera caught this man out of a vehicle. No camera caught this man coming into the city. No camera caught this man, I don't know, coming out of his house. Let me go outside with a bag, walk around with a hoodie on, and I know the camera's watching me, and I got my mask on because because of COVID. Even though if I was going to commit a crime, I would have had a mask on anyways. I guess. Even though it's funny because walking around with a mask on in the middle of the day or nighttime and stuff is no longer suspicious. A mask and hoodie or a hoodie alone is no longer suspicious. Even though Trayvon hoodie, all of a sudden everybody, all the black people, are like, oh, it's suspicious, or not suspicious. White people, wherever the whole argument was, a person walking around with a hoodie at nighttime, y'all talking about suspicious, blah blah, it's bad, and this kid got killed over and stuff. Which I don't like that they got into an altercation and someone lost their life anyway. It's something different, but oh man, this is interesting because is that a white gray hoodie like a Walmart hoodie? To be honest with you, I guarantee you got a zipper. Guarantee you got a zipper. It look like a straight Walmart hoodie. You got gloves on too. He's just standing there looking around, watching. I'm kind of narrating for those on the audio version of the podcast. He's just standing there. Pipe bombs must not really be that heavy because you just strolling like that shit ain't nothing. And then he casually just sets a pipe bomb down. He just sets the bag down on the ground. I'm assuming the pipe bombs are in there. It's funny because you can kind of scan people's eyes through a computer and let those algorithms, based on other government information as far as other people, you can tell someone's eyes. Notice the eye scanner, biometrics. Tell me they can't figure that out. You're telling me they don't have that technology. You actually want me to sit here and believe that they do not have that technology. That even if they don't have that technology, that one of the other government agencies, I don't know, CIA, is not able to have that technology as well. FBI, why is it not the Department of Homeland Security? Why does the FBI have jurisdiction? Maybe it's probably in this article though. So let me see this. The rest of this video. Car coming by. Oh look. I wonder, does that person walking their goddamn dog? I wonder, can they help identify who this individual is? I mean, what is the tip for 100,000? Shit, I'd have been stitching a little. What? Oh yeah, it's definitely with him, man. Yeah, I seen this dude. That's definitely him. He lives up the street from me. For 100,000? Goddamn right. I was like, oh well, y'all said he had a bomb. I thought I was helping out. America. I thought I was saving lives. This is fucking dumb. Dog. The man walking his dog walks by. I can't believe this. Oh my god, I can't believe this video, man. I can't believe this video. Okay, so 7:52 p.m. The DNC was the Democrat National Convention. I guess their building, Southeast Washington D.C., corner of Canal Street and South Capitol Street. Not Saint, South Capitol Street. Notice that they got this person, this man, whatever. Should I be politically correct? I'm gonna say man. Looks like a man. I'm gonna say a man. Fuck it. Get mad at me. It looks like a man. I'm gonna say it's a man. Don't care. Now he goes to sit on the bench. You can't make this shit up, man. He's sitting on the bench outside, I believe, the DNC building. I assume he's gonna place his pipe bomb here. Yeah. Yep. Down. Yeah, all this video footage, right? All this video footage. Like I guess it's a backpack he has. Although he didn't carry it on his back like a backpack, so whatever. 8:14 p.m. RNC, Republican National Convention. Where's the Independent National Convention building at? Nope. Libertarian. Anything else? Any other party? Nope. Then okay. Southeast Washington D.C. alley between RNC and Capitol Hill Club. You telling me there's a camera in the alley? So he's going after Republicans and Democrats. He's like, fuck, I'm gonna blow them all up. I'm gonna blow them all up. I kind of get what he's talking about. Destroy it all. Can't. I won't say I'm gonna blow them all up either, because next thing you know, it's a trigger word, and all of a sudden, somebody's knocking at my door, and I don't answer. And then they bust through the door. Now I gotta pay for the door to get fixed. so, so this is the alley. This is the alley. Okay, whatever. I've never been to DC, so it looks like he has a backpack. It looks like he's just walking with a backpack. Why would you not put it on your back? Why would you carry it by hand? 8:14, 8 o'clock. What is it? 8 o'clock, 14 seconds, something like that. Let's go back. See what it says. So yeah, 8 hours, 14 minutes, 21 seconds. PM, 300 First Street, Southeast, Washington D.C. So it's just this person just caught on camera. This man just caught on camera all over the place. All over the place. Man, he did a lot of walking. I know that one thing. It's not nobody out of shape. He seem to be doing a lot of walking. And he's walking. He's casually strolling by the Capitol Hill Club with his hoodie and mask on. Oh, look. Was that police in the background that just rode by? It was. Some type of, like a kind of a security official vehicle, whether it's one of your 80, I don't even know what they're called anymore. When you scroll down, it tells you, it gives a nice, clear picture of the shoes. Like you got on some Nikes Airs. Is it Air Max? I know it's not Air Max. Oh man, I'll be honest with you, I think these shoes are from the 90s. It shows a picture of a little pipe bomb and stuff, and yeah, he was walking around with a backpack and all their details. Oh man. It says the FBI's Washington field office has released new information and video regarding the pipe bombs placed in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Washington, D.C. on January 5th, 2021, and is seeking additional information from the public. They don't need your help. They're lying. They don't need additional information from the public. They're lying. Identifying the person responsible for placing these pipe bombs is a priority. We're in March. They had this video since January 5th. We are in March. We are in March. You're telling me that they still need our help. Better yet, if they need our help, sit here and think about it. If they needed the public's help so bad, why did they wait until now to release the video? Where was this video at during the Senate impeachment trial? Well, I guess it happened before, so it doesn't count, even though they took a whole bunch of things that happened before and said that. So I don't even want to go down that route, because I don't know how the House Democrats was trying to argue that Trump incited the riot, even though they also show evidence that the riot was planned ahead of time. But his speech incited the riot, even though it was all planned ahead of time. Also, that's probably why they didn't release this video until now, because it shows that somebody was planning on doing something ahead of time. So regardless of what Trump said during the speech, which he also didn't say anything, if you think I'm lying, you think I'm mistaken, well, guess what? You didn't listen to the whole speech. All about what? 2 hours, almost 2 hours of it? No one. Only people that like Trump or whatever the case may be are even curious, are actually listening to the whole speech. Majority of these people are not listening to the whole speech. And I get it. But you gotta be careful what you say and what you comment on if you don't listen to the whole thing. It says identifying the person responsible for placing these pipe bombs is a priority for FBI's Washington field office and our partners at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. On the evening before the violence at our nation's capital between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Two pipe bombs, blah blah. It says American people have provided invaluable assistance in this investigation, and the FBI and our law enforcement partners are very grateful for the cooperation. We still believe there is something. That's a quote from the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Washington field office. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Says these pipe bombs were viable devices that could have been detonated. That's sad to stop. Could have been detonated. If it's a pipe bomb and the remote detonation, I believe you only gotta be within the pipe bombs are small too, so I don't know if the radius is that far. And then it looked like it had a little timer on it too. So okay, okay. Just stick with it. Just stick with it. So these pipe bombs are viable, could have been detonated, resulting in serious injury or death. We needed public's help to identify an individual. You know what all they're doing is just setting up a patsy. That's it. They're just setting up a patsy. Someone they're gonna pull off the street or whatever the case may be, and to take the fall for this. Even though I'm pretty sure it's probably a CIA operative at best. At worst, it's an FBI informant or an FBI agent. At best, it's just a CIA operative or CIA asset, rather. Not necessarily associated with the CIA, but gets paid under the table to do these, or off the books rather. Because under the table, when you pay someone, employee at your business, but it's off the books when you're talking about government. It's the same thing. But you see how you apply it to different scenarios, all of a sudden the verbiage changes? Under the table sounds bad. Off the books seems like not something you just don't want to be tracked. We gotta do this for top secret reasons. See? just a play on words, man. Just a play on words. The FBI has previously released photos of the individual, including the individual's shoes, the devices, and the kitchen timers used in hopes. Kitchen? That's a kitchen timer? Who the fuck has a kitchen timer, man? Why not have a digital clock? Digital timer. Why? Okay, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it. A little makeshift bomb. I knew it. That's what I knew. It was Nike Air Max Speed Turfs. Yeah. It's almost like similar to the shoes when around the late 90s, 98, 99, when Barry Sanders, I like shoes. So, my dad used to bring home the East Bay magazines, and I would read those. I like shoes. I don't buy them necessarily like that, but I still kind of look at the releases of shoes, so whatever. So I'm looking at them like those shoes from like the 90s, man. Yeah, I could tell Nike, they were turf shoes. AstroTurf shoes, so football shoes. Who's walking around in those, bro? It's like, who's walking around in those? Like, so it's not a millennial, right? So they're clearly trying to set up. See, just based off the outfit and everything, you can already kind of build a profile. There's like the FBI show Profiles, right? That's all it was on NBC or CBS, something like that. Just based off the outfit, you can set up a profile. So you're looking at someone my age and older. Because he got on Nike Air Max Speed Turf, bro. Nobody's wearing those, man. And you know what? It makes you wonder because I don't think those are re-release shoes. You know what? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. We're gonna pull it up. We're gonna pull it up real quick. We're gonna see how much what is the cost of it. Can you even find those shoes anymore? So a quick search doesn't even show up the shoe. And these images are older. Let's see, they're on Zappos or Zappos, yeah. They're not there. You lied to me. Oh no, those are older forms. Trying to think. I don't even know these shoes been re-released. I don't know. Because guess what? I'm doing the FBI's job for them. Because all you gotta do is look at the shoes. Those shoes aren't necessarily walking around all over the place. So if you get them, you're not gonna find them at your local shoe store. So you either have them for a long time, or you went out and bought them and stuff. You can't even fucking find it. Can't even find it. Because the only shoes from the '90s is Air Max '90s, Air Max '97, Air Max '95s. And if they are turf, then from the '90s, it's what is it? Barry Sanders shoes. It might seem completely irrelevant, and I'm going down a rabbit. It's not. It's just it's very interesting that this person's attire and they will have those shoes on, and those are the type of shoes that you would have. And this is the type of work that FBI should be doing themselves. And not only that, it's a distinct color. And see, I'm on StockX, so these are your Eastbay. These are shoes that are someone has and reselling them because they're not an official resale. What did they say the color of the shoe was? A gray hoodie sweatshirt, and a black and light gray Nike Air Max Air Max Speed turf shoes with a yellow logo. They use a backpack to transport each device. What's the brand of the backpack? Don't worry, FBI. If you're listening, I'll do your job for you, and I better get that $100,000 tip. Here we go, right here. Black, gray, yellow. So you're telling me someone's walking around with this shoe, and the last sale of this shoe was $237 and 7.5. Based on the size of that person, I put them at least a 10.5, 11. So you're looking on the screen, and those for our audio version, obviously you're just listening. A size 11 is $200. It's going, or the bidding price, or the asking price, rather, excuse me. The asking price is $325 for a 10.5, $225 for a size 10, $200 for a size 11, and $200 for size 11.5. So either this shoe was in someone's closet forever, or somebody went out and bought a new pair of shoes. And the only way gonna do it because it's not a resale. Oh, it was. Okay, so these were re-released. Oh no, it wasn't a re-release. It definitely, I know it's from the '90s though. So the release date on these were August 1st, 2018. Once again, that means someone's been having these shoes for the past couple years. Very interesting, right? Because why would you wear those type of shoes? If you're gonna plant a bomb and stuff, you're gonna be in the most generic, basic thing. You won't be fucking leaving clues like the size shoe. Because just how easily I sat here and started to do some investigative work. You telling me the FBI can't do the same exact thing? You telling me they can't go and try to track who bought these shoes last? You telling me they can't figure that out? No? No? Because here's a list of sales on StockX. But they need our help. So I know it seemed like I went down somewhere else, but my whole point of that was to show you how they don't need our help at all. They're fucking lying. They're fucking lying. They don't need our help at all. They can narrow down these things. They could do their own investigative work. That's why they're the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They want someone to help find out the fucking person who was walking the dog right past them. I don't know. They might be helpful. It might be helpful. Maybe that looked like a authorized police vehicle that rode by as the person was walking past the Capitol Hill Club with a bomb in their backpack. Maybe they should check on that vehicle's license plate and see if they can find out who that person was driving the car and see if they know any information. Sounds like they set up a patsy to me because they don't need our help at all. Period. It's just an odd thing to wear. The whole attire is odd, right? Why would you not be in all black? Why would you not be in all black? Does all black look too suspicious at nighttime? I mean, you're in DC. Then everything looks suspicious. And the shoes, man, I can't get over the shoes because it's like, why those shoes? Why those shoes? Why are you not in all black Air Forces with black Air Force mentality? Why are you not in all black Air Forces, man? Why are you not in that? Shit is stupid, man. So I want to touch on this last topic because this is very disturbing that I don't think people are actually paying attention to, because this is something that to me is a problem and screams, hey, we don't know what is going on at all in DC. So this is from the Boston Globe. It says Pentagon set to okay extending National Guard deployment at Capitol. How do people not see this as a problem? Why do we have a military occupation of the capital of America, of the United States of America? Why are you having a military? That's what it is. I don't care what you say. It's a military occupation. They came in, they put up fences, put up checkpoints. Sound like a military occupation to me. I'm just saying. Kind of odd. I don't know how you keep something safe in DC with all the fences and people walking around in their boots and stuff. Fuck that. God damn, that's just annoying. The Pentagon is set to approve an extension of the National Guard deployment at the U.S. Capitol for about 2 more months, defense officials said Tuesday. 2 more months? 2 more months. What's the next threat? Because it told me QAnon people were going to be there March 4th, right? And nothing happened there, huh? The so-called insurrection on the 6th wasn't an insurrection at all. I mean, they let people walk in past the velvet rope and just have fun. Because black people were like, oh, man, they let them in. If there were black people who did that, they wouldn't let them in. Well, I thought it was an insurrection. I thought it was a riot. I thought the white people were getting beat down and stuff, or the riot at another entrance. And another entrance, they're being let in the building. A lot of psyops going on, huh? Psychological operations. You think you know what you see is true, but what you see is only what you see. You don't actually know anything. The eyes can lie. The eyes can lie. Officials said final details were being worked out, but Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, first name Lloyd? Is his name backwards? Shouldn't it be Austin Lloyd, not Lloyd Austin? Yeah, what the fuck what was his parents thinking? I mean, Austin is already a last name, but man, you got two. whatever. Anyways, is expected to give final approval and have guard troops continue to provide security. Oh, okay, they're providing security for who? In Washington, D.C., at the request of the Capitol Police. You mean the Capitol Police can't do their own security job? You mean in these past couple of months they did not boost up their resources to have enough people? What threat? What's the threat level? What's the threat level? Amid worries about continued threats. So continued threats. It's pretty vague, right? Another one of those vague statements. Let's see if it kind of gives more details. Officials have been scrambling in recent days to determine if and how to fill the request for more than 2,000 guard forces as the original March 12th deadline for them to leave Washington looms. The decision underscores concerns about the ongoing threat of violence at the Capitol. 2 months after rioters breached, oh my God, gonna keep saying that, huh? And left 5 people dead. Really, it's just one, ain't it? If other people died, the person that supposedly got beat by a fire extinguisher, he actually died due to medical reasons. Even his own family said that, but whatever, that doesn't matter. It's medical examiner said that law enforcement have remained in a heightened security posture in response to intelligence suggesting possible threats to the Capitol by militia groups. Why don't you go after those militia groups then? Any other time, the United States government, the Department of Defense always wants to go on the offense when you're talking about defending. Notice how we got military, about 200 some military bases around the world. That's a great defense, huh? Going on the offense, making sure you're having a great defense. Like, oh, we're going to stop the threats far away from us in order to keep us safe. Which, I mean, it sounds like a good thing, right? But when you put it in actuality, understand that hey, you're occupying other people's land, you're messing up other people's lives, you're killing other people for no reason. But that's neither here or there. That's another topic for another day. The request to extend the deployment met resistance last week, as some governors expressed reluctance or flatly refused to commit their troops to more time in the city. Well, no shit. And who's paying these people? Is DC taking them out on a loan? Who's paying these people? There are now appears, because I don't know how the National Guard is paid. I don't know if they get paid out of federal money or state level money. I don't know. There now appears to be enough states willing to provide guard troops for the mission, said the defense official who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss internal deliberations. I hate when they do that. Oh, I'll tell you, but I'm gonna hide my identity. Why? Why? To me, that doesn't have any validity to it at all. But whatever. Army leaders had also initially questioned whether the Capitol Police had exhausted all of the options to fill the need, such as asking for federal law enforcement agencies to provide security. But officials said military leaders thought it was important to find ways to work out the details. Okay, here we go. The threat was tied to the far right conspiracy theory prompted by QAnon supporters that former President Donald Trump, I guess it's me, huh? I guess I'm the QAnon supporter because I brought that up. I guess that's me, huh? Oh man, I guess I'm plotting to take down the United States government at DC, right? Guess I'm part of that. I guess I'm secretly a part of one of these malicious groups as well, too, huh? If I was, you think I'll be on here already? They'd be knocking at my door. That would have been took me away. It's funny because I don't even think that's even part of QAnon supporters. I showed you guys what the Q drops are. So QAnon is and Q are two different. Q and the anonymous people are just regular anonymous decoders, people on the internet, are 4chan, 8chan, message board stuff. And the supporters are, I don't even know what you would call a supporter. Regular person? I don't go down that route. I don't talk to those people. I don't look into that stuff because, well, why? Why? I could figure this shit out on my own. I'm showing you guys that any of us can figure it out on our own if you sit there and pay attention to the details. Yeah, I talked about March 4th being the original presidential inauguration day anyway. So the day that passed, that day passed with no problems. All right, so if that day passed with no problems, then you're good. But law enforcement has said threats to the buildings and personnel remain. Well, you think, here's a real question. What's in context is, or not context, but comparison. Is a threat to the Capitol building more or less than years past? That's the real question. Because would you not think, would there not always be a threat? Would there always not be a group of people? I hate to say militia because I feel like let's throw that word out there to apply to anybody. But would there not always be a group of people that might be threatening to do something, and threatening in the sense meaning they're just talking about it? Because to actually carry it out, nobody's carried out no plans like that. You ain't got the resources, man. The only people that got resources to carry things out like that are people who are being funded by someone with money or the government itself. But don't worry, once again, making too much sense. So the threat is QAnon people and wherever else. It's talking about governments complaining of bad food. Yeah, some of them got sick from some of the food and stuff. The mistreatment of some of them as well. But really, I found this article from John Sullivan, his website, justthenews.com. I know I talked about him before. It says, his headline, this article says, not people who typically serve on front lines. Troops guarding Capitol include cooks, mechanics. Now, I talked about it before. I was in the Air Force for whatever years, blah, blah, blah. And I was a cook and worked in the gym, fitness, and whatever. I was part of the support branch. So in the military, you have your support branch and your operating branch and your operation branch. But your actual front lines make up a small percentage of the military. Majority of the military is supporting those operations. And the operation could be anything from flying planes, flying drones, helicopters, Uh, Field operations. I don't know if medical falls under operations or not. I think it does. I think the med group, medical falls under operations. But even though you can have medical operations and you can have medical support as well. Anyway, whatever. Not to get too technical, you'll figure it out, or you can find out on your own. So it says that they're carrying old weapons. Undertrained soldiers whose primary missions include cooking and supply are now standing around ammoless for some show of force, said retired Army Major John Wagner. So that's interesting right there in a sense because like even though they're cooking or their supply, their mechanics, where even though they're just part of the support branch, the support side of the military, does not mean that does not mean that they still do not have military training as far as utilizing a weapon, knowing different evasive maneuvers, knowing how to do different things. Doesn't mean now, granted, you don't get that training on a daily basis. Like I said, I cooked, I worked at the gym, I did other things. So every now and then you get training and stuff, and you do exercise or whatever. But as opposed to someone that's a security force or someone that's an infantry, wherever, they're getting that type of training all the time because that's their actual career. Is that frontline operation? Is that is being in possible firefights or action rather, as opposed to I know how to guard a plane or I know how to guard an entry and stuff, and I know how to do certain maneuvers. And when I deployed overseas, then I went and got some other training with the army and stuff to do other things that I normally don't do. Like that's how it goes. That's part of it. Damn, I feel like I got an eyelash in my eye. I hate when that happens. But it says National Guards who are assigned to protect the nation's capital include a large contingent of soldiers whose military jobs are to cook, drive, or change tires for their units, according to social media posts from officials. Obviously, this is not a diss to them either. Of course not, because that's just not their job. Doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it, but it's basic security stuff. Meaning that the threat level is not that high. Because the threat level was high, then it would require a different type of National Guard member. It would require someone with more, I want to say fighting skills, but someone with more combat related skill sets. Definitely a combat related career choice. Everyone in the military can shoot a gun. Everyone in the military knows some defense measures. They can fight a little bit. Not everyone gets the same hand-to-hand combat training. Not everyone gets, not everyone is necessarily getting special forces training. Although you can't have a special forces cook. That's something that people don't understand either. That's something I didn't understand until I deployed with special forces. Like, oh yeah, we're special forces, but I'm a cook. You become a special force, you become part of a special forces unit when you decide to be like something like airborne because you want to jump out of a plane for extra $100 a month. And you got to jump out of a plane a couple times a year, a few times a year, whatever the case may be. So you could have special forces training, but still be still be in the special forces unit, but still be a cook. So, although this is not those people, obviously, these are just National Guard members. So they're more or less there for emergency situation, Katrina, natural disasters, stuff like that. They can still handle security duties, but only if the threat level is low. So that lets me know that the threat level is low. So the threat level is low, then you don't need them there at all. You're better off. You're just fine with the same level of people that you've been having there as far as your Capitol Police. So there's no reason to even have those people there. And it's odd to even continue to go on doing this. Let's see. The National Guard Bureau, which administers operations of the individual state guards, did not respond to requests for information on the types of troops that have been mobilized to the D.C. Photographs and social media posts from the D.C. National Guard, however, showed that while some soldiers are military, police are infantry, a large number of non-police, non-combat, a large number, are non-police, non-combat troops. Once again, that means the threat level is not that high. Because if it was high, you would have majority be police combat related troops. Of those in that career fields, of those career fields. You wouldn't have your cooks, mechanics. You wouldn't have that. This basic military operation, this basic military knowledge. You would not have that. So if the threat level is not warranted or not high enough to warrant a majority being police or combat related troops, then that means what the fuck is a threat that the Capitol Police cannot handle themselves? What is actually the threat? Why are they actually there? Why are they actually there? That is the biggest issue out of all of this. And then you have the rest of the article talking about pretty much the same stuff. Wait. It says some military police units currently are part of the contingent guarding the Capitol, according to social media posts from the Washington, D.C. National Guard. In some photographs, military police from Ohio are depicted on duty. They are not carrying rifles. Actually, you know what? Most of these pictures, I don't see no weapon. I don't see no, unless it's slaying on his, nah, I don't see nothing. I don't see no weapon. And I don't even know if that's body armor, because you can have the vest on and then you have to put the plates into the different parts of the vest. So you can have the vest on, but you wouldn't really know the difference unless you're up close and you can see the thickness of the plates, of the armor plates. It looks like that's a water canteen. I don't see necessarily a gas mask. Kevlar helmet. Hell, he ain't even got the helmet on, man. He don't even have the helmet on. Once again, that's stuff, that shit you do when the threat level is not that high. Like there's always, understand, there's always a threat level, especially under military. Anything you're doing with the military, there's always a threat level of at least 1 or 0 or whatever the numbers are. I forget because I can't remember if it starts low and goes high from like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or if it starts at 4 and it goes down to 3, 2, 1. I can't remember. But the threat level is not that serious because this person would not be standing here like that. But once again, why even have this if you already have your Capitol Police and stuff? That is a real issue. That is the biggest thing. And that's what kind of goes over people's heads, because if you don't pay attention to these details, you will never know. They're blaming it on QAnon, they're blaming it on insurrection, all this different stuff. That's why, like, I don't care. I don't care if you don't think the elections were correct and Joe Biden is legitimate president. I don't care what you have to think, because clearly something is going on that we actually don't know about. You don't actually see Biden a lot. You don't actually see him talk with a bunch of other people. Oh, because of COVID-19? Yet Trump was walking around and talking to people, and thousands of people. So but that's right, because Trump, he don't care about the virus, and Biden, he makes sure he's being safe and secure. He's a great leader. He cares about the virus. The man can barely get out a sentence without fucking it up. You understand that? There are no long unscripted speeches from him because he's clearly has cognitive issues. This is, to the point, it's disturbing. It's creepy, man. I can't even watch the videos anymore because it's disturbing. Because it's like, you gotta be shitting me. We are literally sitting here watching someone literally be a puppet president, or just be a puppet public figure. Obama behind the scenes pulling the strings. Obviously, it's the damn same administration. All the people you're picking from the past administration, it's Obama's 3rd term. It's almost like, really, you got Obama president and Trump is president, right? You know what it seems like it. It's just wild though, because we don't know what's going on in DC. You have deep fake videos. You have all this CGI stuff. We talked about on the podcast before. You got all these different videos, all these different things in which you can fake an image. You can fake someone's face. Hell, the video that the FBI released, how do we even know that shit is fucking real? You know what? Now I think about it, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that video as the man with the dog walking past our so-called suspect. Did they even like they interacted with each other or anything? I'm not necessarily that friendly, but over my career in the military, I learned to acknowledge people when I walk by and stuff, because it's started to pick up a habit and stuff. I don't know what it is. So at least say hi or something. anything. I don't know if he did or not. I had to check that video again. I definitely could be mistaken. I'm probably wrong, but it's interesting, man. It's just really interesting because we don't actually know what's going on in the fucking near the Capitol building. Everything's locked off. Everything's closed off. So when I see military occupation, I'm sitting there thinking you either trying to keep someone from getting in, or you trying to keep someone from getting out, or you're monitoring everything because something is going on that you don't want the rest of the world to know about. There could be a whole different operation going on that we don't even know about. That's what bothers me. That's what bothers me, that no one really talk about this. Like, hey, there's something going on that they're clearly trying to hide. They're clearly trying to hide. Yeah, you don't know, Trump could have won and stuff and already been legitimate, and all this stuff is just for show, just to show us. Because it's starting to feel like that, right? I think we talked about it before as far as some of the Q drops and whatnot. Like, some of the stuff does just seem like it's just for show. And normally, when there's something going on just for show, that means things are going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. And this screams psyop. This screams something's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Once again, you got your two elites, or your two sides in governments, or political figures, celebrities, wherever, and they're doing a whole bunch of different things. This is one big ass psychological civil war. We talked about it before. It's one big ass psychological civil war. And while we fight amongst ourselves, between our friends and family members, and we have disagreements and all that other stuff, the real thing is, the fuck is actually going on, man? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. What is actually going on in this country, around the world? What is going on? As always, the podcast streams live on DLive.tv Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. I try to stick with that time, so hopefully I don't ever have to adjust or anything. But if I ever do, I'll definitely let you guys know in the podcast. And I will, I'll try to remember to tweet it out or put it on Gab. I've been doing a lot more posting on Gab. It's a good way to get my following. Probably my, let's be honest, the shit I'm talking about, my audience would be on Gab anyways, not Twitter. But still, I put out information everywhere. You can always check my website, DamianJackson22.com. Check the up in the top right corner, social media podcast, social media links and podcast links, where you can hear and listen and watch the podcast, and my social media accounts, where I'll be tweeting out or posting on Gab or wherever, different articles, different videos, links to YouTube videos. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Odyssey, all that good stuff. Man, I'm not saying this shit all the time. I need to record an outro. That's what I gotta do. That's what I really need to do. I need to record an outro, not necessarily intro. I need to record an outro. Oh, I have to say this all the time. Wanna know why? Because I'm lazy. But I will be back on tomorrow. You guys enjoy your day, or whenever you hear this, enjoy it, period. Have a great life. I'm saying have a great life. Have a good time. Enjoy life. Enjoy your family, friends, family members, friends, all that good stuff. Positive, spread love, all that good shit, right? So until next time.